Hello, 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 everybody. Glad to be here with you for another Awakened Sales conversation. And I am not sure if this is so interesting, this technology, but I'm grateful to be here with you. And hopefully, this didn't take 3 minutes to come in the way this counter's telling me. But I'm here to talk to you about Awakened Sales today. And today I'm going to talk about specifically around the subject around loving yourself fully and all of yourself and allowing yourself to see the impact of that to make more money. There's a lot of there's a lot with people falling into patterns of judgment of themselves about how they are versus how others are showing up, doing coaching and healing and leading the way here, and we and a lot of judgments about ourselves, about who we think we are and who we aren't, and about our power as well. So there's all these different aspects. I'm going to cover some of these today, so you can learn, like, awaken. My intention today is for you to awaken to aspects of yourself that you're not loving. That could be your superpowers and could make a huge difference for the work that you're doing in the world, so you can make more money and let more magic into your life. Okay, so I think, since we're our children, right, we start finding our walls go up energetically around who we are. I'll give you some examples of my own. Okay, so for example, something I was good at as a kid was math. So we would do the around the world thing, and I think it was around what, third grade or whatever, and I was just third, fourth grade. I just remember it's so easy for me, and other kids they'd be counting on fingers and whatnot, and I found myself feeling like, why should I be better than anybody else? And I would literally let myself lose because I didn't feel right about winning every single round when it was so easy for me. That would be one example. So these are examples of not really loving and honor ourselves and making it wrong somehow. So that was the way I made myself wrong. So I made myself wrong, so I started underperforming, and that became a lifelong pattern of mine. Are you familiar with lifelong patterns of yourself where you dim your light so others can shine over you? Does this resonate for you? Is this true for you? I bet it is. I bet it is true for you. And I want you to keep listening for where this might resonate for you, these different aspects. Now, how does this relate to money? Loving yourself. Well, if I were to trust my superpowers more, because my math ability connects with my ability to know things instantly in part. I don't have to sit there and calculate things. I just know something. People who might need to do a lot of different processes and a lot of different things to intuitively know things. Maybe it isn't so much that way for me, even though I teach techniques and I use techniques, but I can just know something right on the spot. But when I don't allow myself to share that at the level that I can, because I feel like, after all, what am I doing? Am I hot shotting? Am I, trying to, show off? I might hold it back. I don't want, and I might say something that might offend somebody, right? So I know this about you. I know this is happening. I can understand all these things, and like that, I've got it going on so strong, and why am I so brilliant and why aren't they? So that old pattern could keep emerging. So I would continue to dim my light, even though it's not helping anybody. But my subconscious is saying it shouldn't be that way. They should have more answers already. It's not fair. Why should they have to hire me to get all these answers? So these are so many different ways that we judge ourselves. So we go back to money itself and how it intersects with that is like, why would I want to just enjoy myself, sharing all my splendid gifts, and just naturally being myself and let that be enough, and allow people to invest a lot of money in my services? Why would I do that? Like, that's got to be criminal, because after all, you're supposed to struggle and work hard and earn and prove it. These gifts come natural to me. It's just who I am. I don't need training to know how to tune in and know what's well for somebody and what's true for somebody, and to know what's going to work for them. I don't necessarily need a lot of training or wisdom and knowledge and the worldly experience. I know. I just get to know. I know it. So how could it be valuable? Because my mind's been trained that I'm supposed to know stuff, and then it'll be good enough. So there's a sense of a wall that comes up due to these limiting beliefs. It's not fair. I should earn it. All these things that won't take me much time. I could spend 5 minutes with them. It's going to change them forever. They might make, who knows, millions of dollars more. Not everybody, I would say, but some people can make millions of dollars more in an instance based on something I can bring an awakened presence. So if it's that powerful and others aren't already doing this, why should I be the one shining and others aren't? But doesn't that also, so that's the limitation. But what if I were thinking in terms of like, it's okay to love myself. It's okay to love myself that I have these gifts and maybe other people aren't, trusting their gifts. And maybe they don't have the same level of that gift that I do, but they have other gifts, obviously, that I may not have so much, right? So why not awaken more of my own gift so I can awaken others to their gifts? Maybe even train them. Like, so that's what I did. I trained people, for example, in energy scanning. I still do that. So training people on energy scanning so they can have more of a full understanding and knowing of something. But rather than to judge myself as, well, I have it going on and, it shouldn't be that way. Oh, golly, geez, and all that sort of stuff. Because one of the aspects of myself that I've judged so much over the years, and sometimes I don't, to be honest. But believe it or not, I come across as very humble and, to most people that don't know me well. But I have a very cocky, confident side, a very, maybe even arrogant, I would say, side. Believe it or not, believe it or not. So, and when that energy is turned on, I can be blind if it gets too strong, like in an arrogance, but when it's just a straight on confidence, clear confidence, full embodied confidence, well, it's a superpower. And but I could judge it. I could say, man, you're so confident. Other people aren't. Why should you be so confident? They aren't. Is life just a confidence game? That doesn't seem right. So there's a program of me not loving myself and appreciating this idea that it couldn't be well, it wouldn't be right. So when I love myself and say, I can unconditionally love myself for knowing that me just having incredible confidence in the channel that I am and who I am in any given moment to champion anything, to manifest anything, to unfold for others is invaluable. Now my value is through the roof. Now my block could end up being then, but I don't know, am I deserving of that kind of confidence? I mean, come on, like I'm just gonna keep defeating myself. So what you have to do is just you have to love the fact that you are who you are and you're natural to what you're natural to, and stop playing like I did as a kid, like dimming your light again and again, so that others can have that sense of confidence because they accomplished something. Now they have confidence rather than loving yourself unconditionally to love yourself exactly as who you are right now. And when you do that, that will skyrocket your own inner connection with who you are and appreciation of every aspect of yourself. So whether it's, appreciating yourself for simply being a loving presence in other people's lives, like and people want to give to you, being open to loving the fact that loving yourself allows you to receive, allowing yourself to love yourself fully in that way, to love yourself when maybe somebody's judged you as being too anxiety ridden, or you're too confident, or you're too, I don't know, like for me it's people that are like, oh, you're a little geeky, a little nerdy, and I'm like, okay, like I used to fight that. Now I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm different. I can love myself exactly as who I am. Why would I judge myself for um, being so spectacularly unique? It's so spectacularly unique. Why not love that? Other people love it. Why wouldn't I love that? People do love that aspect. And if they don't love their own uniqueness. They don't love their own differentness, right? So it doesn't really matter. So when we love ourselves, we open up the gates for us to be who we really are, to radiate and shine and step in our true power, uh, to do all the things we're meant to do. To not say, like, for example, I do channeling. So if I were to stop channeling and say, well, I don't know, other people don't seem to know how to channel, why should I be able to channel? Um, or am I good enough? Or you could go another route with it. Maybe I could look at, well, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not good enough to channel. After all, there's probably far better channels than me out there. Truth is, no one can be the channel that I am. I am uniquely amazing as a channel in my own right. I don't need to be anything like anyone else that someone says they're a better channel. It doesn't matter. The people that I'm meant to channel for are going to think I'm the most amazing channel ever. They're going to think I'm one of the best channels ever. And that's the way it works, right? So loving and appreciating myself beyond what I believe is true and just valuing it, knowing it's completely valuable for someone else is so key. And to stop judging or evaluating versus how we feel versus someone else. So these are kind of, the usual things we talk about, but I think a lot of times we're neglecting these things in business. When it comes to marketing and sales and all those things, are we taking the pathway of really loving and embracing ourselves in every aspect of our life, including in our business? When we think about things like marketing and sales, when we're talking about awakened sales, like if we're going to be in awakened sales, we want to be awakened to being who we are and loving who we are. Realizing actually as you're serving others, that all you're really doing when you're serving in the deepest, most amazing way is in part, well, at least initially, is this experience, if you haven't already done so, of loving yourself. That every single thing I do, this Facebook Live, working with clients, doing whatever I do, I'm actually just here to love myself. I'm here to, and then by loving myself, I'm loving everyone because I'm one and connected with all. So I'm loving all of you as I'm loving myself. And as I do that, that's the purpose. That's the brilliance. By doing that alone, it allows value to. That's the real value. The real value is love, whatever form it takes, right? So for me, loving myself by sharing wisdom on this subject is amazing, because it's a subject that interests me. Therefore, the people that are resonant with me as souls are going to want to receive this information. It's brilliant. I get to love myself. You get to love yourself by receiving whatever I'm sharing, which is just your voice reflected, through me, right? So, and vice versa. Like if you're saying something to me. So we get to just love each other, love all of ourselves. And when other selves show up as people who seem more successful than us, or, are we judged as being too much this way or that way? And that's why they have the money, but I don't like that about them. And, I don't want that. And then we throw away all that aspect of ourselves. We wouldn't notice or judge that if we didn't have it inside ourselves at some level. So when you see somebody seem too aggressive or they seem too whatever, too greedy for money, it's that you've suppressed that greed for money for yourself. So in other words, enlightened greed, right? An enlightened sense of like, yeah, I really want a lot of more money too, and loving that aspect of yourself. We call them shadows, right? So I call them like money shadows and things like that. I can love myself for wanting money. It's okay. I'm gonna love that part of myself. I love winning games. I love crushing people. I love it. I love it. I love the feeling of like someone feeling like they could never beat me. I love that feeling at times. Not always, but sometimes I really love that. Why not embrace that rather than dim my light so I can make other people happy momentarily, but I'm never happy, and then they're never as happy as they could be because I'm not having a good time. So they hang around me more. They're not as enlivened because I'm not loving myself. If you're not loving yourself, you're not enlivening the people around you. If you're not enlivening the people around you to the level that you could, your sense of value is going to decrease, and your sense of deservingness to receive people investing in your services is going to decrease or disappear. So when you love all aspects of yourself, that, yeah, I could be a champion for someone like nobody else. Okay, when you love that aspect of yourself and you don't criticize yourself. Man, maybe I'm too much for people. Maybe I should just be softer, or maybe if you're really a hard ass, if that were true, I don't think most people here are. Hey, if I get more vulnerable and soft, after all, I might get stepped on and run over. Well, no, if you love yourself and you're vulnerable and you're willing to go to the places you normally don't go and love yourself that way visibly, people only will love you more. It'll be just the opposite. They'll come in. So our fears around loving ourselves and putting ourselves out there in new ways is what actually keeps us stuck. And then if we try to do that, if we don't do that, then we stay in the same old frequency. And frequency is what creates new sales and new money. New sales and new money comes in when we're in a new frequency. It's totally an inside job. I look at like all the things I have to share when I'm being awake, and I can fall asleep at time moments for sure. It can happen. But when I'm awakened, I realize that there is really only one conversation going on, as one of my friends says, puts it this way, and it's so true. There's only one conversation going on. What conversation do I want to be in right now as part of that one conversation? Do I want to be fully alive in my body, experiencing the fullest expression of myself right now? What do I want to experience right now? What would delight me? When I'm delighted, it delights others. And realizing it really does work that way. And in whatever wisdom and however you share your wisdom is great. Some people will come on and will say, I got 5 points to share with you today. And they'll be very organized and share those things with you on a live today. For me, I'm all over the place today. And sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I have more lined up points. But that's how I'm called to share today. It delights me to go off the cuff, right? So it feels good. I know the people that hate that will run away. I know the people that love me being in the moment will come closer. And it doesn't matter in a way. All that matters is that I'm loving myself. That's all that matters. That's all that matters for you too. Are you loving yourself? Measure everything you're doing based on if I'm loving myself fully, what am I doing now? What am I doing next? And anything in your life, including your business. So instead of getting in your head, what's going to work? Won't work, blah blah blah. When I'm loving myself, how am I proceeding now? How am I when I'm loving myself fully, not just kind of loving myself, but when I'm loving myself fully, would I actually accept this client, that wants to work with me for like half my rate or something no, you wouldn't, right? If you're loving yourself fully, you would not do that. You would say, stop. It's a hard stop. That doesn't feel like loving myself fully. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to judge myself for not taking on this client or keeping my prices low because I feel like I won't be able to help those people that need it. Get over yourself. There's so many people that are there to help them that would be thrilled to charge those rates and can do an amazing job. Crush your ego. Like there's other people that can serve them. Maybe you can serve them better than you can at that rate that they're thrilled and that's where they're ready to serve at. But it's time for you to take your leap up so you can make more money by loving the fact that you want to charge more, for example. Like there's so many iterations around this loving yourself fully so you can make more money. So if you love yourself fully and you're like, you know what? I just want to start. I want to experience having 3 new clients a month, and I want them investing, 20K each or whatever. It doesn't matter, whatever it is for you, 2,000 each or whatever. Okay, I would love that. I would be loving myself fully if I let that in my life. Okay, great. Now, how would you share yourself in the world? Um, while you're knowing that's already going to happen. Okay, I would love myself by doing a Facebook Live every day. That's what I would do, even though I'm scared to do it a little bit or nervous. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start doing that. Let's see. I think maybe I'll get more followers on Instagram or, I think, am I loving myself fully? I think I'll take more time off. I think I'll go on retreats. Maybe I'll host some retreats. Yeah, that would be fun. Maybe I want to speak on some stages, whatever, and it just comes natural to you. And there's connected, loving energy that's connected. And when you're in that connected energy, it's like that love is magnetic. and it brings in the right opportunities and the right people. And when you stay in that energy, you don't keep breaking out of it. You continue to love yourself in every moment and bringing forth, the fullness of yourself in every moment. Things work. So when you go to make an offer to someone in a sales conversation or in a sales webinar or whatever you guys do, you're in such a connection that people are just wanting to work with you. You don't necessarily need the 30 gimmicks of trying to unload people. Maybe some of those things are going to be really, really helpful, but maybe not. The number one thing is the energy connection, and that's what strategies and structures to increase sales are about anyway. But they're only good for you if they delight you and you love them. You love, like, it connects for you. It's like I'm loving myself by offering these bonuses and gifts. I'm loving myself by making a limited time offer. I'm loving myself by saying there's only 3 people in and I mean it. Like whatever it is, but that you're loving yourself fully. That you love all aspects of yourself. You love your fairy self. You love, whatever. I'm just making up scenarios. You love your higher dimensional self. You love your body. You love the earth. You love whatever. You love everything about yourself and everything you're connected to. And from that space, then you become a magnet. You just become a magnet, and you're more connected. You find more the energy friends you're looking for because you love yourself. Now you're totally magnetizing your like team. You're magnetizing your perfect clients. You're magnetizing your perfect friends and lovers, partners. Things like that. Everything's being perfectly magnetized to you. So these are all things that we're talking about here on Mondays is all these different keys. There's so many different keys we could talk about with Awakened Sales, which is about deepening your awakening, which is what this helps with too, deepening your impact, and rocking your sales. So anyway, I was grateful to share with you today. I did see people jumping in and out during this live, and I'm sure people watch during recording or replay. Think about all the ways you can love yourself fully. Where are you not loving yourself? Where are you saying this is a problem, I shouldn't be like that, but that's not true. If you were loving yourself, you would be more like that. So consider all the ways you might be judging yourself. Write them all down, and then say, when I'm loving myself fully, this is how I would be. You write down all the qualities, all the ways of being you would have now, and all the things you might be up to and doing. Like you could just write it all down. It could be that simple. But yeah, do those things. When it comes to marketing, sales, identify some of the 3 or 5 top things you would be doing right now if you're loving yourself fully when it comes to marketing, your offers, any aspect of your business, your team you're hiring, etc. If you have a team you're looking to hire or want to improve upon, whatever may be the case. Okay. So anyway, I'm so grateful to share with you today. Let me know what you think, what's on your heart and in your mind. And I'm grateful to share with you today. And keep on tuning in. I'll keep rocking it here with Awakened Sales Facebook Lives on Mondays at 3 p.m. Central. I won't be here next week on Monday due to another commitment. I'll be doing a silent retreat I'll be leading. If you're interested in those, contact me. But I'll be back in 2 weeks from today. Okay, lots of love and blessings. Goodbye for now, everyone.